The blizzard had shut down nearly every road across the county before sunset. Inside my little roadside diner, the coffee stayed hot while the wind rattled every window. I figured the night would end quietly with just a few regular customers. Then the front door suddenly swung open. 9 exhausted bikers stepped inside, covered from head to toe with fresh snow. The freezing wind followed them through the doorway before it slammed shut. Every customer quietly looked in their direction. The diner became completely silent. The leader politely removed his gloves and apologized for bringing snow inside. He explained they had been stranded after the highway closed without warning. Their motorcycles couldn't safely continue through the storm. They simply needed warmth and a hot meal. Without asking another question, I smiled and pointed toward the largest booth in the diner. I told them to get warm while I started preparing dinner. The tension inside the restaurant slowly disappeared. Kindness has a way of changing a room. Fresh soup simmered on the stove, while biscuits baked in the oven. The smell quickly filled every corner of the diner. Several customers smiled as steaming plates reached each table. The bikers looked genuinely grateful. One biker quietly asked how much everything would cost. I simply smiled and told them to eat first. There would be plenty of time to discuss the bill later. Right then, staying warm mattered most. As the storm grew stronger outside, conversations slowly filled the diner again. The bikers shared stories from long rides across the country. Families and truck drivers listened with interest. Strangers slowly became neighbors for the evening. Hours later, the weather showed no signs of improving. I unlocked the storage room and brought out extra blankets for everyone. Nobody would be left outside in that storm. The diner became a temporary shelter. The biker leader quietly thanked me for treating everyone with respect. He said genuine kindness was something people never forgot. I simply told him that's how neighbors should help one another. He smiled and nodded. As the snow continued falling outside, everyone gathered around fresh coffee before sunrise. The storm had brought strangers together in the most unexpected way. None of us knew this simple act of kindness would create a friendship remembered for years. Sometimes one warm meal can change an entire story. Morning finally arrived as the snowfall slowly began to ease across the highway. The bikers walked outside to brush thick layers of snow from their motorcycles. I packed fresh coffee and homemade sandwiches for everyone before they left. They thanked me with genuine appreciation. Before starting their engines, Jack quietly asked if I lived at the diner alone. I smiled and told him this little place had been my family's home for decades. He looked around the property with thoughtful eyes. Something about the conversation stayed with him. A few weeks later, another winter storm rolled through the county. Business slowed, but I continued opening the diner every morning. To my surprise, familiar motorcycles appeared in the parking lot. The same group had returned. This time they weren't looking for food or shelter. They spent the entire afternoon helping repair loose fence posts and clearing heavy snow. Neighbors watched with surprise and admiration. Kindness had come full circle. Word spread quickly throughout the small town about what had happened. More travelers began stopping at the diner after hearing the story. The little restaurant became busier than ever. People came for both the food and the kindness. Whenever the bikers passed through the area, they stopped by for coffee and conversation. They always greeted Grandma Evelyn with warm smiles and respectful handshakes. The friendship had become a tradition. Everyone in town noticed it. One evening, a young traveler asked why the bikers always visited the diner. Jack smiled and simply pointed toward Grandma Evelyn. He said kindness deserves to be remembered. The entire diner nodded in agreement. As the seasons changed, the roadside diner became known as one of the friendliest places along the highway. Travelers often shared stories of generosity they had witnessed there. Every visit reminded people that compassion still existed. That reputation meant everything. Jack thanked Grandma Evelyn one last time before another long ride across the country. He told her that respect is earned through actions, not words. She smiled and wished everyone safe travels. The engine started, but the friendship remained. As the motorcycles disappeared down the open highway, Grandma Evelyn watched with a grateful smile. A single act of kindness had grown into years of friendship and mutual respect. Sometimes the greatest rewards come from helping someone without expecting anything in return, and that's a story worth remembering.